Hello again. If you're an avid follower of pop music, our next guests will need absolutely no introduction at all. But just in case you're not, they've been described as an explosion in pop culture, creators of a funk hybrid phenomenon, trendsetters in a scene which shone out in the drab world of post-punk. They were funk acolytes from the swept fringe, now with a subculture all of their own. But in human terms, they say they're nice, ordinary blokes. John Keeble and Martin Kemp. Good morning.
Hello. You've been up all night writing that?
Yeah. But that's what they write about you. I mean, did you know that you were funk acolytes when you started out?
I never knew it until today. You just said it.
Do you know what a funk acolyte is?
I haven't got a clue.
Yeah.
It's very interesting. They write those things about you, and you
Yeah,
don't even...
in some of the more pseudo papers, yeah.
How did you start out?
Because there was a need for a band like us, because it was at a time when the charts was, if you go back to before we brought out Cut a Long Story Short, which was the first record, the charts were full of like 35-year-old people, say Brian Ferry, David Bowie, but they were trying to make music for young kids of like 16, 17, and those kids should have a band for themselves of their own age that they can relate to. I mean, before that even, it was even worse, where you had really smart British kids dancing to American funk like the Commodores, who were dressed in rhinestone suits, you know, which is absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah.
So when we got up on stage, it was a matter of a need, really, and we got up on stage and it actually reflected what was happening and the feeling of the kids, you know. It was like for the first time the kids had a band their own age that they could go to a club and dance to.
But how do you decide how to do that? I mean, I read that your first live performance was on a Saturday morning in a sort of rehearsal room somewhere in front of a load of your friends. Yeah. How did it go down?
I think most bands sort of start off playing to their friends, and the audience widens after that. There was a good reaction, and from then on we tried to play some slightly different gigs rather than play your normal rock circuit. We just approach the music business in a slightly different way. You
do, don't you? Because you do some concerts, gigs, as I suppose I've got to learn to call them, in most unusual locations, because you've done one on HMS Belfast?
Yeah, we've done a few. All the way through our career, though, we've tried to keep it, even up to last year, where people always slagged us off for saying, oh, you played on the HMS Belfast to 200 friends, it's not fair because no one could get in. But I mean, it was interesting, and we, at the time, we were doing it as a laugh, right? I mean, we were saying, oh, we're playing on the HMS Belfast to 200 people at a party. I mean, it's better than playing the Marquee, isn't it?
I bet it was good, though.
So, but up to last year, we went out last year on tour, and we played, rather than going into Hammersmith Odeon and doing that sort of show, we went in and done the Royal Festival Hall, the Albert Hall and the Sadler's Wells Theatre, which is sort of like just a larger version of it.
Yeah, it's interesting what you were saying as well, because even in the newspapers that don't use those funny words that I was talking about earlier, they say that you mirror what your fans need. We'll be talking about that a bit more later, and about the fashion as well, which is a terribly important part of your group, isn't it? Right, now let's go over to Nick.
It's approaching 7:45. A very good morning to you. Welcome to TV AM.